Major absences in Manchester United training ahead of Sunday's game against Liverpool. It's a big one. There's only 3 days to go, and there were some big names not training today. We're going to talk about that and whether we should be worried ahead of that big game against Liverpool. The truth about Ruben Amorim and Manuel Ugarte's relationship. Have they fallen out? Does Amorim still rate Ugarte? Could he start against Liverpool? I think there's a good chance he could. I'll tell you why when we get there. New $239 billion takeover talks. It's new, and it involves a Manchester United legend. Very interesting story there. Joshua Zirkzee exit latest. We're going to discuss that for a little bit. He's probably leaving in January. Now we have a pretty good idea of where he could be ending up. And finally, Shea Lacey, the youngster on everyone's lips right now. A debut could be imminent, and we'll have a little talk about why that is. But welcome back to TurkTalksFC, guys. Thanks for clicking on the video. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new. Like the video if you do enjoy it, and get involved in the comments. This is your daily Manchester United roundup, where I discuss all the biggest talking points from today in around 10 minutes. And let's get straight into it with the headline story. Major absences in Manchester United training today. Bruno Fernandes, Casemiro and Ahmad were among several players missing from training today. Just 2 days of preparation left. Now, the reasoning the club have given is because those players were on international duty, so they've been given a little bit of extra time off just to rest, to recover. But the way I'm thinking, there's tomorrow, Friday, there's Saturday, which, let's be honest, the day before a game, it's not going to be a full intensity session. And then Sunday, we'll be travelling to Liverpool. 2 days, probably realistically 1.5 days. Not a lot of time to prepare for such a big game. There'll be a lot of tactical stuff going into it. Could we see some surprises in the team is what I'm thinking. I think we could. I think you'll see Bruno Fernandes in the team, but Casemiro, Ahmad, I think Ruben Amorim could think they could be replaced, so that's one to keep an eye on. Shea Lacey, Chido Obi, Tyler Fletcher, Bendito Montato, Jim Thwaites, Jacob Devaney, Sam Mather and Reece Munro were the youngsters involved in first team training today. They just made up the numbers. It's not like those players are going to be promoted to the team and the squad for the Liverpool game. It was just those several absences. They made up the numbers. It was just been for tactical work, standing as Liverpool players in sessions, stuff like that. But another player absent, Nusayr Mazraoui, definitely won't be featuring at Liverpool. That's according to Samuel Luckhurst. He's considered a serious doubt for the trip to Liverpool. He did go on international duty with Morocco, didn't feature in their games though. He just continued recovery work in Morocco. He's back at Carrington now, but doesn't seem like he's match fit. So right now it seems like Nusayr Mazraoui, Lisandro Martinez and Aiden Heaven are the 3 players who are going to miss this one through injury. But there could be more if players aren't match fit. I'm looking at Casemiro. I'm looking at Ahmad. Bit of a concern for me. Manuel Ugarte, though, could be a player to profit. So a couple of days ago, a report from a Talk of the Devils live show in Ireland came out on Twitter. Someone said their mate was at the show and they told him that Laurie Whitwell said that Ruben Amorim essentially told Manuel Ugarte that he wasn't the same player that he was at Sporting. It was during the rant to Alejandro Garnacho where he told him, find yourself a new club. You better find yourself a new club before you return, otherwise you're not going to be playing. But that has since been ruled as inaccurate. It wasn't true. It was taken massively out of context. Ruben Amorim has never really said that to Manuel Ugarte. Ben Jacobs has taken that an extra step today. I'm told that Ruben Amorim really likes Manuel Ugarte and thinks he's exactly the right kind of profile and just needs to get that extra bit out of him. I'm not sure about that. Yes, they worked together at Sporting. But Manuel Ugarte has started just 3 of United's last 11 matches, and he was an unused substitute in 3 of those games. I think it was the West Ham defeat at the end of last season where West Ham weren't winning at all. They came to Old Trafford, won with relative ease. Manuel Ugarte had an absolute stinker that day. And since then, he's sort of been a fringe player. Casemiro's ahead of him in the pecking order. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes starts ahead of him as well. I think Ruben Amorim probably hopes that he can get something out of Manuel Ugarte, but next year, this midfield rebuild, when United sign 1, probably 2 midfielders, if Manuel Ugarte hasn't gotten his act together, I can definitely see him leaving the club. But in the near future, we could be seeing Manuel Ugarte start against Liverpool. According to Samuel Luckhurst, Manuel Ugarte is in contention to start this one if Casemiro isn't considered fit. Casemiro, he travelled to South Korea and Japan during the international break. Meanwhile, Manuel Ugarte wasn't selected for Uruguay, so he's nice and fresh. Casemiro might not be able to start this weekend, so it seems like Manuel Ugarte and Bruno Fernandes will be the midfield partnership at Anfield. Ruben Amorim did exactly this last month after the September international break. Casemiro dropped out, Manuel Ugarte started. I think he instantly dropped out after that because United didn't play very well. But Manuel Ugarte played well at Liverpool last season. I don't know if you remember that, but obviously it was a 2-2 draw. United deserved to win. United should have won. That Harry Maguire chance right at the end. Ugarte played well. We need a big performance again this weekend. Now, a bit more on the potential takeover / investment. I don't think anyone really knows what's going on with it, but new information today, which is pretty interesting, from Ben Jacobs. So he says, International Holding Company have been part of talks to put together a prospective UAE-based consortium. Obviously, we know the group that are currently in talks with the Glazer family is from the UAE. IHC are worth £239 billion. And that's not all. The UAE-based consortium have been contacting several United legends over the possibility of becoming ambassadors. And Eric Cantona, the king, has been one of them. He's held direct talks about becoming a Manchester United ambassador as part of this consortium. I feel like Eric Cantona is already a bit of a United ambassador, an unofficial United ambassador. He's always talking well about the club. He's always honest. He's representing the club in different mediums. But this could be on an official scale, and there could be more to come. I don't know if you saw it, but last night, United stocks rose. Well, they didn't rose. They spiked again. It's all speculative. I have no idea about this, how the stock markets work, but it seems like the stock markets rise, or the stock rises when there's good publicity and good PR. Like, for example, during the initial strategic review, when it seemed like Qatar were going to win that takeover, United's shares rose massively because obviously people thought, if Qatar are investing, United are going to be worth a lot more money. Then when the Glazers didn't do a full sale, it plummeted. So obviously a lot of talk about the Glazers potentially selling up right now. The stocks are rising. A lot of fans getting excited, like, does this mean there's going to be good news soon? I just think it's all speculative, to be honest. And on this Eric Cantona thing, we do have to just be a bit cautious. The same reports were coming out during that first takeover race when Qatar were in it. One of Qatar's main pledges was, we're going to get United legends involved. Yeah, I would just take it with a pinch of salt for now. But I think one thing is for certain, a UAE consortium is definitely in talks with the Glazer family. Whether that's for a full sale or investment or something to do with the new stadium remains to be seen, but it will all come out eventually. Now, Joshua Zirkzee, we know he's probably leaving in January. He's just played 74 minutes across United's 7 Premier League games this season. He was an unused substitute in 4 of them. He didn't even start that League Cup game against Grimsby Town. Obviously, on paper, it's against a League 2 club. United should have been rotating for that one. We did lose the game, so we can't really say that. But according to Paul Hurst in The Times, AS Roma and Como are considering a swoop for Zirkzee in January. It would be a loan deal, and Zirkzee will consider an exit if he doesn't get those opportunities. So I do think right now a return to Italy is definitely most likely for Joshua Zirkzee. Obviously did well there with Bologna. Definitely, I think he'll be keen for that. And finally, we mentioned Shea Lacey earlier. He was training with the first team today to make up the numbers, but he has been training with the first team in the past as well. Previous reports claiming that he has left first team players stunned by the level of his technical ability right now. Ruben Amorim and Shea Lacey have plenty of one-to-one conversations around the training ground. That is according to Nathan Salt in the Daily Mail. There is an eagerness to put Lacey in a position to succeed in the very near future. Shea Lacey is not just training with the United senior team, he was training with the England senior team as well. During the international break, he was called up for the under-20s, and he was part of a group who trained with the England seniors, so Thomas Tuchel could have a closer look at him, which is just great to see. He scored 2 goals in 3 appearances in his sort of first season for the under-21s at United so far. He's playing well, lots of promise. I think at the start of the season, if you asked me which United youth player was the next to come through, probably would have said Sekou Kone. I think he was definitely knocking on the door, but that serious head injury that he's still recovering from has definitely stifled the development a little bit. Shea Lacey, I think, is really on the brink now. I really do think we're going to see Shea Lacey sooner rather than later. He's a left-footed winger. He plays on the right. He plays down the middle. It's sort of Brian Mbeumo's role, Ahmad's role. So there's plenty of competition there. I don't think we're going to see him burst in and become an instant starter, but I do think we'll see Shea Lacey for the first team at United, maybe by the end of this year. I really do think that. And that is today's roundup, guys. So please subscribe to the channel if you're new. Like the video if you enjoyed it, you found it insightful. And yeah, comment, get involved in the comments. And I'll see you next time.